Again, we want to thank Oliver Reed, owner Ollie Reed Sports. We really appreciate you hopping on here in the pod with us. My man, how are you doing?
Good. Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
If you want to take an opportunity to kind of introduce yourself, Ollie, the floor is all yours, my friend.
Absolutely. For those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Ollie Reed. I'm a basketball recruiting analyst and content creator. I've been doing this for about like 6 years now. Started off as a player manager for my high school, just a kid from North Central West Virginia, just trying to make a difference in the state. And I feel like I helped out these high school basketball athletes across West Virginia, get recognized and my goal is still, get those athletes to that high level, to that national level of attention. So, I got above like over 10K followers on both the social media platforms on Instagram and Twitter, and just want to improve on from there. So, but yeah, that's pretty much about it.
For
That's
sure. And kind
awesome.
of speaking on your impact within the state as well, before I give it over to Josh, I remember seeing your channel really start taking off last year about, probably about this time. It was about a year ago today. I remember seeing a lot of your stuff. So you inspired us to kind of pursue, our dreams with making this podcast a reality and stretching the state from, obviously the Eastern Panhandle all the way down to the Kanawha Valley. That's what this is all about. And your work and your opportunity within the state, not only media wise, but trying to elevate the basketball players, especially the recruiting aspect of it in this state. I think that is something that is remarkable, and you should get more credit for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. But, at the end of the day, it's not about me. I remember whenever I first started this off, I was like, am I really doing this for me? I mean, I really love doing it, but I get joy from it, but the only joy I get from it is, of helping these kids out. And, I get, a lot of love and respect from the parents and coaches and all that. And they really appreciate what I do. And so I'm like, I got to keep this going, I mean, I feel like I'm doing something right. So, but at the end of the day, it's not about me; it's about these athletes. So that's just the joy of it, and I love it.
For
Yeah.
sure. Thanks, Ali. Josh?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, man, like, what's your specific story? Like, what high school did you go to, and when did you really start loving basketball? And what was that transition like when you finished high school, or where you were like, man, I really want to keep involved with this? Like, what was your journey like specifically?
Started off whenever I was like 8 years old. I loved basketball. I started out playing playing pickup. I was like, okay, I really like this.
Mm-hmm.
So, basketball starting off from that. I played like an upward Christian league. I wasn't really like, I just chucked up threes like crazy at the age of 8 years old, but I just kept on missing. But I was like, I still had the confidence in me to keep going. But other than that, it just kind of grew. I evaluated the games of like Michael Jordan and watching LeBron James back whenever he played for Miami. And, I got cut all 3 years of my middle school team from Mountaineer Middle School in Morgantown. And then I went to University High School. This is a school in Morgantown, West Virginia. But we weren't known as a basketball school. We were always known for being like a cross country track school or a football school. That's kind of what we were known for. And whenever we asked about like, who University High School is, like people were like, who? Who is that? Like, what is that? No one even knew about us at that point. Um, so I started off like as a freshman. I just helped out as a player. I was kind of a manager for the team. And then coach called me in as a sophomore. He's like, I want you to play for us, but I want you to be
Nice.
I want you to have manager duties as well. So I was a player manager for University High School for 3 years from 2015 to 2018. It was an amazing journey. I want to shout out Coach Joe Smittle for giving me opportunity because without him, Ollie Reed Sports wouldn't be possible without him. So, but yeah, it's honestly kind of an obsession. I really love basketball more than
Agreed.
anything, but it's not the most important thing in my life. I live my life by like three principles. I got God, I got family, and then basketball. That's it. So,
Mm-hmm.
but that's pretty much my story from there.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, no, you say God, family, and basketball. I mean, I feel like as a hooper, I've seen those three words together so much. And obviously, I see that you put God first and your religion is huge to you. But where does family and basketball kind of intertwine? Because obviously, you're quite busy. I know I am. I know I have to sacrifice time with my family whenever I'm going and broadcasting or doing this pod or just simply at work because we all still have a 9 to 5. How do you kind of balance the basketball aspect of it and still being a good family man?
Well, I was raised by a single mom, growing up. So my mom's my rock, she's my everything. And me and my mom got a close relationship, and she already knows that the basketball stuff, she knows how much I love it, she knows how much I enjoy it. but it doesn't really, like, affect the relationship at all. I mean, she's not that much of a sports type of person, but she really knows she knows that, I'm helping these kids out, and my grandparents, my grandparents, like, both from my mom's side and on my dad's side, they're always really supportive of me and my career, so and they know I have a feeling they know that I wanna make a living out of this, and, I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job at it, so but at the end of the day, family will always come first if there's any emergency or anything like that, so but luckily nothing bad has, like, happened recently other than that, so, um, but yeah, I'm very blessed to be able to, have a family that supports, what I do, so, you don't really get that very often, so but yeah, I'm just very blessed, very thankful.
For sure, I can definitely see that. I'm a mama's boy too, though, so I completely understand. My mom's always been the one to make me pursue my dreams. Josh,
Yeah, I mean, I was raised by a single mom as well, and especially like coming up in athletics and things like that, to have a supportive mom in a place where I feel like a lot of kids that have the father figure in sports from a youth age, I feel like they always were more successful. I mean, they had the dads at every game, every practice. So I never really had that experience, which leaned on like coaches or other mentors. That's why like youth is so important, man. That's why I'm excited. Like I want to be a mentor to youth players, youth people in general, because if they don't have that, especially in like the areas that I'm from, like if you don't have that type of guidance, man, it's going to be even harder to be successful. But I wanted to talk about some hoops, man. What are some things that you've noticed just going? I've seen that you've been to some circuit games, AAU games. What are some things you noticed differently of basketball culture in West Virginia and out of state places that you went and watched?
Well, I only went to, like, one AAU circuit this past summer, and that was the Adidas Championships in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And let me just tell you something, it's really crazy playing over there 'cause I got to see some in-state competition there, we saw Noah Lewis played a little bit,
shout out
but
Noah.
he did a slam dunk, but he actually, like, he actually suffered, like, a little mild concussion, but he was back a week later, so I didn't really get to see him play, and then Daz Reed from South Charleston, he was playing as well, but he plays at Huntington Prep now, so
Yep.
he played really well in that tournament, but getting to see that from, like, because I every single year, I usually go to, like, a couple of Big Shots events, and they're kinda like a West Virginia branded
Yep.
type of event, type of event circuit, so
We played in there twice this summer with my team.
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
so
I grew up playing in those a lot.
it's very different, just seeing, like, the national media exposure, we get to see Balls Life Slam overtime, getting to see Taylor Kinney and Adam Moe team up together at Wildcat Select. I mean, and Erfan Diani and all those other top big names in the top
Dogs.
20, in the top 15 there. It's just, and the sellout crowds that were going on over there. It was insane. It's kind of crazy seeing that because, I'm not used to seeing that because it was my first time ever being at a shoe circuit. So it is very different.
Hmm.
But, to get to that level, I've seen kids that have strived for that level and Noah Lewis, for example, he played over at West Virginia Range. Shout out to Coach Ronnie Newsom because
Hmm.
he gets like I think he had like almost 90 recruits like signed in the past 20
Hmm.
Wow,
plus years that he's done that. So
that's terrific.
Yeah.
I've seen like Noah Lewis came from Rain and then played at West Virginia Gold in the Puma League to now where he's at playing in the Adidas circuit. I was like, it's really awesome seeing him grow as well. So, but just seeing like the competition from like in state to out of state to like national is crazy different. You have to be like a different type of breed to get on that level.
Yeah, like what do you think are some of the major things that separate the national competition best players and the West Virginia guys? And like what do you think, like me and Drew talk about this all the time, like how can we get more athletes from West Virginia on that level? Like do you think it's like genetically or do you think it's media? Is it parent support? Like is it just where they come from? Like how can we get more guys at the level that you see at these places? Because there are different breeds of athletes.
Absolutely, but it just has to do with you just gotta train. You just gotta learn to like don't be lazy. If you want to like put your heart and soul into it, like you really need to like get in the gym day in and day out. You need to have a good trainer. You got to have a good support system. Just you just gotta push. You gotta push yourself to be great. And trying to get at that level. I mean, you just can't like you know it's like like a high school coach will want you to do a certain thing, and you can work on the things you're good at, but you also go work on the things that you're not so good at.
Of course.
Like we have big guys in West Virginia, that can you know, get into the paint, and that's literally all they can do. But they're like one of the best in the state, but they don't have a good like outside game. Because I was actually talking to someone about this earlier. Like you need that, like in an NBA and college level, these college coaches are looking for
Shooters.
big shooter, yeah, like either a stretch
Bigs that
4,
can
stretch
shoot.
5.
You
Yeah.
can't have a
Absolutely.
weakness. You can't have a weakness.
No, you gotta be polished.
If you can't hit shots and you can't guard, and that's the good part on the other end of the coin though. It's like I talked about this with Drew a lot. If you can catch and shoot and make shots consistently and you can play defense,
You
I
have a
could put
spot.
you on the court. And I would always put you on the court. Yeah. So like if you're an up and coming player, it's like take pride in defensive effort and become a good shooter, man. If you have those two things, all the other stuff is a bonus. That could take you to a very high level, but to
Right.
have the foundation of those things, you need that.
Well,
Absolutely,
I'm
and
a
what
go ahead,
I
Ollie.
Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
Drew. Go ahead, Drew.
sorry, and I just wanted to mention, like, I was actually talking to one of the players when I was at, Fairmont State's elite camp yesterday,
Hmm.
and I was telling some of the players, like, look at, is this WVU basketball player now plays at Cincinnati, Sincere Harris. He wasn't the best like offensive player, but defensively he was a dog. And same goes with Gabe Osabuoye, former Mountaineer. I
Yeah.
mean, he wasn't a great offensive player, but he was a starter for the way he played well on the defensive end. And I'm a big defensive guy, and that's
Me
Right.
kind of the
too.
reasons why I'm like a big fan of Ross Hodge from WVU because he's a big defensive guy. I think that's like in my brain. Offense wins games, but defense wins championships. That's just my mindset personally.
Yeah, let me keep on this, Drew, for a second, because I love the defense and offensive X and O philosophy. Like I'm telling you right now, if we could convince certain teams to come out and play with the type of aggression and like the way that they would play when they're down. So you see a team come out, say the start of the fourth quarter, they're down 10. The way that they play with that sense of urgency when they're down 10, if they would start the tip off with that type of urgency, I don't know, I'm not saying gas out, but just
Yeah,
play with that type of intensity. I think that's the thing too. You have to try
But
to
you gotta think
motivate
of depth
kids.
too, though, when it comes to that.
Yeah. Just
absolutely.
effort wise though, it's like you got to get the kids to buy into like we need to play with our effort, maximum effort. Like we don't need to be bullied first quarter. Like we need to come out like we had Coach Lamberti on last week. One of my favorite programs of all time, like regardless of level. The way West Liberty does it shows that no matter what your athleticism is, whatever your genetics is, if you buy in mentally, I mean, come look what they did. That's just them buying in. Imagine if the best players in the world bought into that same type of effort. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, regardless of depth, just come out with that urgency defensively.
I mean, I agree with you absolutely. West Liberty's. I mean, West Liberty. You see West Liberty every single year, and almost like they were just playing the national championship last year. Then they the D2 level.
Yep.
I
They're
mean,
amazing.
and Lombardi's been there for like how many years? How long has he been
His
there?
whole career. I mean, well,
Pretty much his
he
whole
was
He
career.
went to
Yeah.
Coker.
he
He
was
was
a
at
player.
Coker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
was a
Okay. I remember
player at
that.
West Liberty, and then he was assistant at West Liberty for a few years, then got a head coaching job at Coker University. Then Hallett went to IU Indy. He just got the head job at West Liberty now. So it's the same system throughout all these years, man. It's like the best type of style of basketball you
But to
could
kind of
watch.
carry off of your point, Josh, everybody talks about West Liberty offensively and what they do, but nobody ever talks about what their defensive pressure impression, all 96 feet, and they're getting a lot
That
of
is the
steals and
system.
layups.
That's the system right
Yeah,
there. The
it's really
defense
their
is the
defense
system.
starts their offense.
That's the system, bro. That's the whole system. That's where everything comes from. And that's why I was saying that if you get guys to buy in mentally, because they've never had the most athletic players in the world. So how are they inflicting their will on every single team? Like usually you think of like, man,
That's
this
the
team's got a bunch of athletes, they're pressing us, they're going to kill us. They're doing it in a way where it's mental and they're subbing nonstop. Like that's the type of basketball that I want to watch, bro. If you come out there defensively like that, you're in every single game.
They recruit at the right depth and position there. Like they
Yeah.
can play two deep at literally 1 through 5. And I think that not a lot of programs, especially the D2 level, I'm sure Ollie can contest to this, are able to recruit like that. Maybe like Ferris State. You have a couple schools down south in Florida, like Nova Southeastern, who can recruit on that consistent basis. But the way with NIL money and stuff works now, the top of the line guys are obviously playing high level and mid major Division One basketball.
Absolutely. I wish I could keep more on D2, but I'm always focused on like national, like D1, like both Power 5 and mid major, but then also like
Mhm.
high school basketball. But I am trying to get into like more of the MEC this year. And that's something I wanted to bring up because I definitely think that the MEC, like I was even like watching a video about, Bruce Pearl was talking like these kids are like most high level D2s are better than low level D1s, and I 100% agree. I mean, you see, like, I watch it day in and day out. The MEC, it's a run and go style of play. Almost every single team, like West Liberty, Fairmont State,
UC,
University of
West, yep.
Charleston,
Yeah.
we see it
Yeah,
everywhere,
those
man.
3 schools specifically, like, definitely I keep up with West Liberty, like, I view them as, like, one of the best programs in the country regardless of level. So, like, I'm keeping up with them a lot. Fairmont State's been great nationally for years as well. They had, like, Haywood Highsmith, right, Drew? They've
Man,
had guys come out of
He
there.
played at Wheeling
Wheeling
Jesuit.
He
University,
played at
yeah,
William
yeah.
That's where I
Jesuit. Yeah,
played
who was the
against
guy
him.
what was the guy's name from Fairmont?
Well, Missoula coached at Fairmont.
Yeah, but there was a player.
They
There
had a
was a
guy
good
that
player there too.
something he played. I actually played. We scrimmaged against him that year that they finished in the national championship in 2016.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I would
remember.
definitely
He
keep
was
up, Ollie. I
nasty
would
though.
keep up with the MEC for sure, especially the top 3. Like West Liberty, Crutchfield is like I've seen so many clips of guys like Missoula, Eric Spoelstra, like they still go to Crutchfield to this day and like take things from him. So it's like those levels, I think West Liberty, Nova Southeastern, those guys, I would rather watch them than I would watch the lowest level of Division 1 for sure.
Oh yeah, 100% agree with you. I mean, I've been watching well because Fairmont State. Both my parents graduated from Fairmont State, so I'm very familiar with their style of play. I watched them. I remember whenever I was like before I even started, like, going to all like the high school games and stuff. And before I started ORS, I went to Fairmont State's practices and everything. And Coach TK has always been really nice and supportive. And I mean, and here's another thing. Like whenever I started Ollie Reed Sports was like it was back in like 2019. I just graduated from high school. I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life.
Mhm.
But I knew like sports was kind of like the main answer. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just start like doing some player profiles on some players. And like as soon as I graduated from high school, the very next thing that I did, like once April or May started, I just started talking about like the top players from university, and top players from Morgantown, Parkersburg South, some of the teams for like the OVAC. And then was talking to some kids from like GW and all that. And I just kept on going forward with that. And,
Mhm.
and then college coaches started to notice, like Division II coaches. And then I talked about like college players nationally. And then I had like, college coaches from like the Power Fives following me too. So it's been an amazing journey for sure. For
That's
sure.
awesome. I wanted to ask, what's your balance like between, like, say, doing these player profiles opposed to, like, just covering high school sports? Like, what's your balance like? Are you doing mostly, like, in the season covering these guys and players, or are you, like, breaking them down? Like, these guys can play at this level, and then you have, like, coaches saying, like, hey, Ollie, what do you think of this guy?
I kind of just like break it down. And usually I cover the high school kids whenever the season does start. Because right now, I'm mainly from like, I started off with my podcast. I'm talking more like about the Mountaineer basketball program. I
Yeah,
just started doing player profiles on them just a couple weeks ago. Started off with Honor Huff, who was just recently on my podcast.
Yeah.
And we always if you guys go watch the podcast, he's just talking about his background because he was just a little small kid that, they didn't really get any offers. Only got like one big offer from VMI and then worked his way up to WVU today. So I mean, like this gotta
good for
he
him.
even said in the podcast, just trust your journey, man. And I even preached out to these high school kids, just trust your journey, just keep on working hard. But like you were saying earlier, I just kind of break down, kind of wait until like the season starts before I start talking about the high school kids and see like where they're at that level. Like there's like for example, like Noah Lewis, we already know he's going to Wright State. I know he was kind of a mid-major guy, even though Charleston was kind of a heavy favorite with him. Um, let's see another kid, trying to remember here.
Eli Sancombe, I think, is going to, I mean, him and Equasia Poku Onchampong, I'd look at those 3 as the top 3 guys in the state, and then I look at another level. But again, that's just my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in my personal opinion, Eli Sankum is the best player in the state, no question about it. Noah Lewis is a close second. Eli Sankum, personally for me, I think he is a Power 5 type of player.
I
I
agree.
just think, but for right now, in terms of like the NIL and, transfer portal era that we're in, it's kind of hard to, try to get these guys, because most of these college coaches at the Power 5 level are looking for guys that are like trying to go to, trying to find a fifth year guy or, a bigger player from the transfer portal. So it is
It's
very
tough being a
difficult.
freshman. It is tough being a freshman nowadays.
To get an
It's
offer
very,
from
very
like I said,
difficult.
a Power 4 school, as a freshman straight out of high school, when you can go the JUCO route, still not use your eligibility, have 4 more years, or go prep and then go JUCO. I mean, a lot of these college freshmen now are going to be 21, 22 years old and playing until they're 26.
'Cause the D1 coaches
Absolutely.
aren't even recruiting the freshmen, they're just taking the JUCO
Why
guys.
would you? Would you? All right. So do you put yourself in John Calipari's shoes real quick, Ollie. If you have an opportunity to recruit an 18-year-old ripe guy that maybe has NBA potential, but he's still immature, you got somebody who's been through a year of prep and 2 years of junior college experience and still has 4 years of eligibility. Who are you going to try to build your program behind?
Yeah.
Obviously, we're gonna go with experience first. I mean, and the experience does matter more than anything. And if you if you're getting if these college coaches are getting a freshman that are like they're trying to like win their program a national championship. I mean, there's not that many Cooper Flags in the world, you know. I mean, it's very difficult to find because Cooper Flag was a different breed. Ryan Williamson was a different breed. And I'll mention the Duke players, but that's just something I'm just thinking about at the top of
Yeah.
my head. But you know, it's you know, experience does matter first, and you know, and experience is like what coaches are looking at right now. But Eli Sankum, personally, if he does go the mid-major route, I can see him striving there. And here in about like a year or two, I can see him playing at a Power Four. And I
Yeah,
mean,
I would that's why I would encourage players and parents, like, man, don't be scared to go D2. Like,
And
if
then
you're
transfer out.
bro, yeah,
And the
so
absolutely.
transfer portal is your friend. That like to kind of carry off of what you were saying right there, Ali, is that's why a lot of schools though, because I've asked this question to a couple other coaches, they're like, well, sometimes you might need a wager on winning that year because year to year now, it's so much different in terms of recruiting with NIL and players are no longer amateurs. They're actually professional athletes, if you will. To wager your opportunity maybe on somebody who builds after 2 years and they become an NBA prospect and they're like, okay, screw playing here at Delaware State. I'm gonna go right up to Penn State University and have a better opportunity to go find a pro route. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. But not someone I forgot to mention here, like what you mentioned before, like not scared going D2. I mean, look at Dale Bonner from Fairmont State.
Yeah,
He started off at Fairmont State, was a All-American player for 2 years, and then went to Baylor University and was kind of a big role player for them. And then he finished his college career at his home state, the Ohio State Universities. You know, anything's possible, man. But
it is.
yeah, so.
yeah, if I'm a freshman, I'm going whoever wants me to develop as a freshman, and then whatever happens after that year, like Lamberti was telling us, you gotta be where your feet are at. That's such a great quote me and Drew's
Present
been
where your
using ever
feet are.
since.
Yep.
Yeah, so wherever you can be developed the most and be used the most as a freshman, go there. Everybody thinks like I saw this one tweet. It was like, well, if you're in D1 and you're not at a blue blood, they're like, he's not a blue blood. Then if you're not D1, they're like, he's not D1. Then if you're D2, they're like, he's D3. You're never ever gonna please everybody, man. So
No, of
go
course
where
not.
you personally are gonna have the most development, and then if you're good enough, you'll get seen. It's not hard.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like in this generation, kids are just kind of afraid that, you know, like kids are afraid to go to a D2 or D3 and be like, "Oh, I don't want to be at this level." Like, well,
They don't have a clue.
you have no idea. Like if a college coach emails you, you email him right back. I don't mean you're getting an opportunity to go to college for free and play basketball for free for college. So just take that opportunity while you can because those opportunities don't last, you know. Just enjoy them.
Yeah, 'cause I think I only have a couple more for you, but I think right now the aspect for kids, a lot of kids are thinking they're so much better than what they truly are. Because let's be realistic. If say you're in West Virginia, and I've been critical of this, and you use the transfer portal to transfer within the EPAC or MSAC, your chances of getting a college scholarship, I think, are actually going to go down because the first thing that college coaches do, they basically run a background check on you. So if they like your film and they see you have good grades and you may be an opportunity for them, they're going to call all your old coaches and all your old teachers and say if you snake the old coach, the first thing that coach is going to say, well, yeah, he tried to go to a better opportunity and really ring chase. And I just think that that could end up being a detriment if you use the transfer portal like that. But I do believe the transfer portal does have benefit. It can benefit you. But what is your personal opinion on the transfer portal?
Like in high school, like at this level
Yeah,
here,
at a high school, like this is obviously I like the college transfer portal. I think the high school transfer portal needs some sort of adjustments.
I agree. But, you know, people just want to rain chase and all that. And I understand that aspect of it. Um, but you just got to, you know, go to a school that you want to succeed in and where you can lead. You know, if you want to be a leader, just work on your game just to be the leader that you want to be. Like, don't try to go somewhere. Don't take the easy way out because even the easy way out is not that easy. You know what I'm saying? If you try to go like to a better school, yeah, like you try to go to a better school here, but you're not gonna get like, you're not gonna be the main ball handler. There's gonna be like other guys want the ball and want to strive for success and all that. So, but the transfer portal, but yeah, I agree with you. It's a benefit in a way, but we just don't want to see it go like too out of control.
I agree,
Yeah.
Josh.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, like, when I was coming up in high school, I felt like I didn't get much media attention. Maybe it was coaching wise. I never had an established coach. I didn't have like the backing. Who are some guys, like this is important to me and Drew, who are some guys that you might not see getting the media attention in the state of West Virginia that you're like, these guys are flying under the radar. I think these are some great players, great teams, coaches. Like, who are some places that you think like these guys need more attention than they're getting?
I would definitely want to say the Eastern Panhandle doesn't really get the attention it deserves here in West Virginia. I'm just gonna be completely honest. It's a 3-hour drive from where I'm at to
Me
Martinsburg.
too. Yeah.
So, but whenever I got to see my first EPAC game last year with Spring Mills and Hedgesville, I was like, okay, this is a different breed because it was packed before the JV game even began. So, but it was like whenever I watched Spring Mills a couple of years ago, we had a showcase a few years back. Whenever I got to see like Caleb Thomas, Lokai, and Aquazi and all of them, I was like, okay, most of the people in the state don't even know who these kids are yet. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, these kids are like really good. They were
Found
like the
out.
best. These kids are like the best players in the whole entire showcase. And I remember I got a picture with all of them. I was like, hey guys, get a picture with me. I'm gonna tweet this out. Be like, watch out for Spring Mills High School. This team is gonna shock the state. And guess
They
what? The
did.
year they end up like being like state tournament contenders, and now they've made it to the championship last year, and then obviously in 2025 won the state championship this year. But yeah, the EPAC definitely doesn't really get that much media attention. Although you guys do a really good job with that. With the home team sports, and then
Thanks, brother.
we did whatever that channel is
TV10,
called.
WTTV.
10.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the only like those are like the two platforms that I watch like the football and basketball streams out on the EPAC. So you guys do a really good work on that. So I usually do my part to get those guys noticed. So I would say the EPAC probably gets like the least attention somewhat because they're so far away from like it's not for like the North Central teams. They always get covered by like the news and whatnot.
We're a
But yeah,
metropolitan area up here. It's the state element from comparable. If you look down to the southern and middle portion of the state, they all resemble kind of a same tendency of how you guys play physical branded basketball. Really all blue collar. When you're up in this area, I mean, we get called city slickers all the time just because I mean we're more similar to Maryland and Virginia in terms of the competition and who we play. I mean, most of the people on our schedule when I played were from Virginia or Maryland. It's understandable to see the disconnect from the state, but I truly believe that this has some of the most talent. I think all three sections really, well, four sections now have tremendous talent. I do think that the EPAC gets left out a lot. But my last question for you though, if you had to fast forward, it's the end of March now. Who is playing in the state championship and why?
for like all
This is quad
classes.
A. You can do quad A and triple A.
Quad A, triple. Okay. Quad A, man, that's gonna be tough. I
Mhm.
honestly could see a Spring Mills GW rematch again, just because GW brings back so much. They bring Lewis back. They have Dominic Sprouse, he just got offered from Fairmont State as a sophomore, and he played really well there. So Dom Sprouse, they got Caden Welch, who's pretty good.
Yep, Welch is a player.
Welch is a good player. And I just got to see Kirk Akers. 6'7", stretch four. He's 6'7", 6'8", only a junior. This GW team's really young, so I can see them playing the championship once again. And for Spring Mills, they do lose their senior starters. Caleb Thomas losing CT is a big blow, but getting Andon Santa Maria from Musselman was definitely a huge plus for them lengthwise. Getting Quasi back was definitely huge because, man, he's a first-team All-Stater in my book. He's one of the
Best
hardest
shooter in the
working,
state.
best shooter in the state, no question. He's one of the hardest workers that I know. Really small guard. That can play at a high level. Tyler Jones, a really good, solid player. So I could definitely see. And obviously, can't forget about my man Zay Anderson, big
If he's
boy Zay
here,
Anderson.
he said he wants to play, but he doesn't know if he'll be able to. So I think he's a big what if for Spring Mills.
Okay, all right, so I'll look at that, and then oh, man,
So I'm really interested in this one because I think this is wide open.
it is wide open. That's the reason why I can't really decide right now, man. You kinda put me on the spot. Let's see. Obviously, it was Bridgeport and
Mhm.
Nitro playing the championship, right?
Yep, it is.
N I got to see, Timmy Lovejoy from Nitro, yesterday too. He played really well. I think he's getting an offer from, like a
Is he
low-level
a
school.
senior this year or is he a junior?
I wanna say he's a senior this year, but he's pretty solid. You know, he kinda reminds me of Cam Dancer a little bit from Morgantown, you know, lefty shooter, really lengthy. Man, I think Nitro does bring some talent back. Nitro should be pretty good.
Capital and South Charleston are in AAA as
Yep.
well now.
Spring Valley as well.
Oh, wow. And
Yeah,
they got a lot of
yeah,
good players, so with AAA, I can't really say.
yeah.
But I do know Double A is gonna be good. I can tell you Double A. I know Wheeling Central. I can see Wheeling Central
Yeah.
definitely going back. Eli Sankum, you know, and his little brother. Don't forget about Luke Sankum too, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget about Luke
I've seen a
Sankum.
lot of him recently. He's been popping up on my TO about the last month and a half. He's a good player too.
Yeah, absolutely. 5'7", but he's one of the best shooters. Other than Quasi, he's the other best shooter in the state. There's no question. You know, so he's a really hard worker, just like his brother. Definitely wanted to get his name out there. You know, they got Max Oliash, who is also getting looked at the mid-major level for football. So, you know, Wheeling Central's got a lot of athletes. They're kind of my favorite to win Double A and then Single A. I mean, Tug Valley, they obviously have a really good team
Yeah.
as well. You know, Braden Ferris coming back. You know, he was already leading this team since he was a freshman. But Huntington St. Joe's is a sleeper team. You know, they got a lot of players back as well. You know, they got Grady Painter back from Cabell Midland. You know, they got Malachi Aram. What's his name? Ni- Nymir Bryant, the 6'6" kid from you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's tough, but you know, single
Single
A
A is
could be one
definitely
of
a lot
those.
tougher. I again, Tug
Yeah.
Valley and Wheeling Central. I just feel like they're going to dominate those two. At least in my opinion, that's just what I've seen. But I can't wait to maybe see a little bit more parity from those two levels this year.
I really wanna find a lot of guys too. I feel like there's some, like, schools that get no media attention
Hidden
out in the
gems.
middle, and there's gotta be some guys out here that get no attention media-wise whatsoever, that's in a town we don't know about, that's in Double A or Single A. Like, there has to be good players at some of these places that get nothing at all. Like, that's how I felt like my career at Riverside was for, like, 3 years. Like, there's guys out there that get no attention that are solid players.
Yep.
Absolutely, I'll definitely be talking about that here in the coming months, once closer to high school basketball season. But
All right, man. What are some of your favorite guests that you have talked to, whether on the pod or just in person? Like, who are some of your favorite players or coaches that you've talked to that you think like, man, that's cool that I got to do that.
one of my favorite players that I actually got to talk to whenever I was first starting up was Rodney Gallagher. He was a WVU. He's at WVU right now as a wide receiver. But whenever I talked to him, this is whenever I was like first starting up my YouTube channel and back when I wasn't really like consistent and all that. I was like 18 or 19. I brought him in. He was a kid from Laurel Highlands, Pennsylvania. You know, he played with Bronny James for North Coast Blue Chips, and he was there for the reunion. I saw him here, and they got that's how I kind of like met Bronny and everything too, which was a cool experience. So, but yeah, Rodney Gallagher was probably one of my favorite players that I got to talk to, even though he wasn't a basketball player. But basketball player wise, like who I've gotten to interview, high school level, probably Caden Matheny. Whenever I did my IG live show, he's at Liberty University. He was my
Oh,
former teammate at University High. So, I mean, he was one of the best players that I probably like ever like played against, you know, and was teammates with. So that was a real blessing. And college player, I got to talk to a few. Obviously, I got to talk to Sharon Young, kid from Morgantown. I got to talk to Brady Dunlap whenever I was just starting the podcast off from last year. He's a kid that played under Rick Pitino at St. John, and he's playing at St. Louis right now. I think he's going to be a up and comer in the coming and here to this season because St. Louis is kind of a underrated mid major program under Josh Shirts. And when I did, like I was mentioning before, Honor Huff, I just talked to him as well. So it's
And you talked to Ross Hodge as well, right?
yeah, the Hodge. We want to know more about that.
I didn't get to talk to. Met him in Charleston at the TBT. That's how I got to talk to him. I talked to him from Ronnie Everhart, who I'm really close with. You know, who was a former assistant under Coach Hugs at WVU. So that's I have I have some close ties with the program and everything. You know, I got to meet Coach Phil Forte from at Rock Hill, South Carolina a couple of months ago. So yeah, really big connection with WVU and everything.
Cool. Well, to pivot off that, who do you want to have in the future? What's next for your whole platform? Like, where do you envision this going in the next few years? And would you ever want to coach basketball?
Coaching basketball, maybe. I don't know. I don't really. I'm not that much of an X's and O's guy. I mean, I know the game a little bit, but I'm still learning. I'm young. I'm about 25 years old now, so I'm still learning the game. But I would definitely love to coach. That's something that I've always kept in mind. But the goal for this channel, for my YouTube channel, at Ollie Reed Sports, all social platforms, I want to be up to 500 to 1K subscribers before the end of 2025, and I want to be consistent with it, both for high school and college. So
Love it.
that's kind of the goal right now. But I know it's gonna take a lot of hard work to get there. But but this is something I want to do for a living, so I just gotta make do with what I have.
Last one for me, Drew. If you could give some advice to a high school player hoping to catch the eyes of a college coach or to catch your eyes so you could post them and do a player profile on them, say they don't have media coverage, say they're out in the middle of nowhere, what could they do to where you'd see them and be like, you know what, this guy's a good player, other than the natural, just blessed athletically things?
Other than being blessed athletically, like you said, just play hard. Just give it your all. That's all I keep on telling everybody. And just give 100. If you don't give 110% whenever you play a game, then why even bother playing the game? You gotta grind into it. If you want to get to that level, you gotta give it your all every single day in practice to games. Even in practice, like if you don't like do well in practice, I mean, I understand like off days in practice and stuff, but if you want to get to that level, to
Right.
like the college level, you really need to give it your all every single time you step onto the court. So, but yeah, and also be aggressive on the defensive side. I always preach defense to these kids because I'm a defensive guy. So
Mhm.
play good. I mean, obviously, every coach can like recruit you for your offense, but whenever they see you play hard on defense, that's what really catches their
The
attention.
effort takes nothing as well. It's like
Yep.
like Drew kept saying about like depth. Like if you are well conditioned and you got that mindset, you could really impact the game, man.
Absolutely.
Well, again, we want to shout out Ollie Reed Sports too. Make sure you guys follow them on all different platforms. We work hand in hand with them, not only with EPAN to the UKV, but alongside with Home Team Sports TV as well throughout most of basketball season. So we really appreciate you, Ollie. And again, this question's a little bit more personal, and obviously, however you want to answer this, we completely understand. But also from somebody that's on the spectrum, you just recently spoke on your autism diagnosis on X. Can you kind of elaborate more on that and how that's allowed you to kind of be yourself throughout your career, and how I look at autism more of a superpower rather than a disability?
Absolutely. Well, I was diagnosed at a really early age. Whenever I was 5, I think I was either 4 or 5 years old. I can't really remember, but I was really young. Um, I think, I think, oh, I think I remember my mom was talking to me about this earlier. Like, I think we were talking about this like 3 or 4 months ago. We were talking about like how the doctor's like neurologist was basically saying like he's not really gonna be able to like I don't even know, like something crazy, like not gonna be able to like play like any sports, is not gonna be able to like socialize, or not gonna be able to do all this and that. And honestly, it's kind of it's I'm honestly kind of emotional thinking about it because I feel like I've accomplished so much in my life. I have a steady job. I was able to be successful without even having to go to college, and I'm still growing every day. I know that I'm not near to where I want to be at right now, but I do know that I'm making an impact on this state and
You
everything.
are,
and
brother.
and the
100%.
people that the people that I've met, coaches, parents, players, parents, whatever, like whoever I've met in my life, it's always been positive. And there's from I think people know I've gotten like comments about me because people have known about this beforehand. Whenever I was in school, I've gotten ableist comments and stuff like that, and I've dealt with that. It doesn't bother me, sticks and stones. But at the end of the day, the Lord's got me. I got a amazing support system. And to everyone, I mean, and I know there's a lot of people that are like me out there. Like you said, autism is more of a superpower, and it is. I feel like it really is. It's not a disability. It's not a disease, and everyone thinks it is. It's not a disease. Honestly, it's just something that makes you unique, and that's something that it's just I'm just very blessed. I was very blessed that now I'm able to live my life to the fullest, to give it my all every single day. It doesn't matter what I have, and this is kind of like some motive. If I want to like give you guys give everybody out there some advice, this no matter what you're going through, just keep on, just keep on going on, keep on keeping on. That's my motto that I always
Keep
tell
on keeping
everybody:
on.
keep on keeping on, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I gotta say about that.
100%.
Just keep on striving, even whenever you have bad days, don't give up. You are loved in this world. People love and care about you.
Bro, before you close it out, man, I just want to say, bro, I appreciate you hopping on. You're really good at what you do. I appreciate your journey, man. I'm proud of what you accomplished. You're great at what you do, man. I think you're going to be an inspiration for a lot of kids, and what you do is selfless, man. I really appreciate you, man. You're a good guy.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Josh. Thank you,
Yes,
Drew. Thank
sir.
you guys for having me on. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Yes,
And
sir.
and for your coverage here on this podcast. I think you guys are doing an amazing job. All I keep on saying is you guys keep on keeping on for you guys, and to you guys are doing an amazing job of keeping this state recognized, just like what I'm doing. So
For
So we'll
sure.
be in
We're
touch.
we're
We'll
on the
stay in
same
touch
team,
for
brother.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we'll
on the
be in
absolutely.
same
touch.
team. And like before we head out, obviously I kind of want to comment on what you said. And I the way you break it down is, obviously people are always gonna put limitations on you. Doctors, they put limitations on you. But my whole life, I had limitations. Nobody ever thought I'd go play college basketball. Nobody ever thought I'd be able to go do a bunch of things in my life, become a barber, become a broadcaster. I mean, I'm only 2 years into this. I never took a journalism class in my life. But when you have a dream or you have a passion for something, no amount of schooling or anything will ever prepare you for that. And I think, chasing your dreams like you have and not allowing a diagnosis or anybody's interpretation of you to ever to affect you, I think that's awesome, brother. And like I said, you've inspired me. You make me want to work harder. I hope we do the same for
Same.
you. It's a healthy competition. Like we are competing, but we're also on the same team. We're trying to elevate the state any way that we could help you over here at the EPAN and UKV with Ollie Reed Sports. We will, and because I know we're going to use you too, my brother. So thank you again so much for hopping on. And that is Oliver Reed from Ollie Reed Sports. Thank you so much, my brother. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please make sure to follow him on all socials. Follow us on all socials. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We appreciate all the love. Thank you guys so much.
Sir.
Enjoy. Thank you for tuning in to the EPAN to the UKV pod.
Yes, sir.